What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Dew Crew? This is Ballhawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
All right, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. Let me turn this stuff down for the markets as I'm taking a little bit of a break from the markets as we're getting down to the final half hour or so of the trading day. So I want to come over and bring you a little bit of a news, a little bit of something that came out. And many of you probably know who Tom Pelissero is, NFL insider. I have a lot of respect for him. I've actually met him a few times in life, as he used to be an NFL scout. We used to occasionally meet up at different scouting combines, etc., talk about new practices, etc. Real good guy. Hey, insider, I think everybody would agree with that. He's a network analyst, and he is filling in for Rich Eisen this week. Not a big story here, but I thought an interesting take by Pelissero that, hey, he's listed the Detroit Lions have potentially 2 MVP candidates. He does go on to say he's not sure Jared Goff will be really in the mix, but he does think there is another Detroit Lion who potentially could be in the mix. So I want to go ahead and share it with you guys, get your thoughts real quick, and get with it, see what we can do, and see what you guys' thoughts are. So without further ado, let's go on over to the video and get you guys up on board and running.
And for the Lions, the Lions were that close as well. There are a few strange plays and missed opportunities away.
How does I catch that ball? What are we doing? That was insane.
You take a ball off the face mask in the biggest possible moment. There's any different number of ways. I mean, you can just say stay the course, but it's never about staying the course in the NFL. It's always about how do you get better.
Right.
So what I'm going to say is Jahmyr Gibbs, my non-negotiable
stud,
is he's got to be somebody that you at least think is in the MVP conversation.
Ooh.
And I had Bucky Brooks on the Insiders yesterday. He was doing his long shot candidates. He had Jared Goff as a long shot MVP candidate. Jahmyr Gibbs, when you watch him live, and I was at a couple of Lions games last year, he's splitting time with David Montgomery. Montgomery had a hell of a year.
He's a beast too.
Jahmyr Gibbs, though, when he gets rolling, man, is special. And you watch him. I'm not saying it's got to be all Jahmyr Gibbs. Ben Johnson is one of the best play callers and offensive minds in the entire NFL. And Dan Campbell is really, really smart with offense. Whatever they do, I'm sure they got a good plan for it. I'm sure it's still going to be a mix of things in the backfield. But getting Jahmyr Gibbs those opportunities and getting him rolling, that guy could be one of the best running backs, one of the best playmakers in the entire league.
All right, so let's dive into this real quick. Hey, I think we all get Gibbs, when he was originally drafted, there were a lot of naysayers about him. A lot of people just coming out and saying, I'm not so sure the Lions made the right move. Maybe they should have went with Carter, who we all know went with the number 6 overall pick to Philadelphia before the Lions traded down. Great move, it would appear, for the Detroit Lions, as they got not only Gibbs but Laporta, and both of them are looking like potential front runners to be all-pro. Who knows? Maybe even Hall of Famers in time. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on this real quick. What do you think? We all watched Gibbs emerge last year, especially when you get to about the halfway point of the season. You could start just seeing his understanding of the cutting lanes, the mechanics in the passing route, the route tree negotiations between him and Goff. Just a lot of little nuances that kept popping up. It's funny that Pelissero and the guys who were at Rich Eisen do even reference the NFC title game. Is most Lions fan probably begrudgingly remember right before half, the Lions have a chance to potentially go for a kill shot. Gibbs goes out on a pattern, basically does a post cut, loses his footing. The pass from Goff is wide open in the end zone, but unfortunately, because Gibbs loses his footing, kind of just is off by a yard or two. But do you think that Gibbs is actually going to be a front runner this year? Do you think the potential is there for MCDC Ben Johnson say, we're no longer going to do 50-50, maybe it's 60-40, whatever it is? And I do want to give Tom P some credit here. He does mention that Montgomery is also an outstanding player as well. But let's real quick, I'm here for a little bit, not a long time, but did want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Hatman, hey, Coach. Woo! And, hey, good day to you too, Hatman. Hopefully you're a good one. And I do love the thumbnail as always, man. I'm Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan. What's new? Woo! Woo! And good afternoon to you too, Gunny. Hopefully you're having a great day. Yeah, man, that's awesome, buddy. 100%. Yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the appearances from some of the Detroit Lions. Got a couple more that I'm trying to get to do some things for Lions Talk Live. Hopefully you guys enjoy seeing them on there, and hopefully you get a few more woos out of them. I was hoping to get one out of Iffy, but I just don't think he understood the Ric Flair woo. And I'm not gonna lie, I had Jen watch Skippers for, and I was like, that is a different way of doing the woo, but it worked. I thought for Skip it worked well. Jason Iffy, 100%. Hatman, love the Skipper. Thanks for that, guys. And I'll try to keep incorporating them, circling through, trying to get a couple other ones, trying to work my way, I guess you could say, up the Lions totem pole or whatever through players, but trying to get a few others. Rando, intros fire. Thanks for that, man. Thank you very much. Been working on it, trying to get in connection with a few of the Lions players. Some of them have been nice enough to try to do some things. So thank you to all of them. All right, say Jason Gibbs, 100%. That's, Jason, I know we don't have the Tree of Destiny out yet or the Towel of Fate or anything like that, but I am thinking, you listen to Tom P. He is somebody who knows the NFL game probably as good as anybody else, really, outside of maybe some people in the coaching profession or maybe some people in front offices. Because Tom P., like I said at the start of the show, he's been an NFL scout hierarchy person for a long time before he really kind of got a break from that and got into the broadcasting game. But he knows talent when he sees it. He knows what to make of it, and I think he's spot on. I think a lot of it. Sorry, the dogs are barking. I think a lot of what you see out of Gibbs later last season is going to emerge on a full-time basis this year. That doesn't mean he's going to get 100% of the snaps. That doesn't mean Montgomery's going to go all of a sudden and just be someone who gets 10 or 20% of the snaps. But I do think Gibbs' home run potential is such that you've got to have him on the field more, whether that means 60, 65%. I'll leave that to the coaching staff. But if he does get 60%, maybe 65%, imagine the numbers this kid might put up in this offense, especially if our defense is as good as advertising and actually get some stops this year. Jordy, we got Goff MVP. Ja or Amara St. Brown, Offensive Player of the Year. Hutch, Defensive Player of the Year. Arnold, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. Let's go, 100%. We get that, man. I think everybody in Lions fandom everywhere is going to be shouting out loud and going, yeah, without question on that. All right, Manifest. It's nice to see all the hype with Detroit during the offseason. All the preseason accolades talk is cool. However, I want wins for this team and bring home our first of many Lombardi trophies. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, Manifest. I couldn't agree more. You can do and say whatever you want during the regular season, but at the end of the day, you got to go get championships. Otherwise, you're just, hate to say it, but you're the Buffalo Bills of the 90s, or maybe even the current rendition of the Buffalo Bills. Bergs, so cool, Dan. Love the extras you added. Go Lions. Hey, I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it a little bit more entertaining for you guys. And just trying to grow the channel, as you guys know, anybody who's watched the show for a bit. Hopefully you get in the last month or so, I've tried to start figuring out some more things, mechanics, just to make it, a little bit more entertaining for you guys, while trying to be informative as well. All right. Hookadoo Bergs. What up, dude? Yes. What up? Jason, if he wasn't splitting time, then I'd say he had a chance. I'll go with that. Yeah. I think that's spot on. If they keep it 50-50 or pretty dang close to it, I think it's going to be tough for Gibbs to put up the type of numbers to be needed from a running back to be in that conversation. Yada, yada, badass. What up, though, coach? Woo, woo, woo. And good woo to you, too. Yada, yada. Moonscar, what's up, afternoon crew? Just jumped in without looking. What's the story? So, Tom Pelissero, he's filling in for Rich Eisen this week while Rich is gone. And again, I won't give his entire resume again. I think most people know who he is. I thought he had a real nice, specific take about the Detroit Lions. Forget last year. Forget all the other stuff. Focus on the fact that Gibbs, hey, this kid is special. He can burst. He can go. And he might just end up being an MVP candidate for this franchise. Let's see. Tree 3, what do you got? Loving the updates, Dan. Hey, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a couple others. I have reached out to a couple other Lions players. One of them had a scheduling conflict earlier today, so he couldn't go on air and get it done. Working on a couple other people. We'll see what shakes out. I'm trying to make it happen. Say, Doug, could be Gibbs. The game against Oakland was 189 yards, was just a teaser. Yeah, and he's going to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. The offense gets a little bit more familiar with him and his do's and don'ts. Yeah, I think you're spot on, Doug. Yada, yada. Gibbs could be the MVP. If he is, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Woo, woo. And yeah, I agree that, this kid has got the ability, especially when you think the Lions play 14 of 17 games indoors on basically track surface. Yeah, Gibbs could be special. Gunning, Gibbs sprinting away from everyone effortlessly towards the end zone is amazing, especially seeing him let up. Haha, woo, woo! And yeah, he's got speed to burn, and you've heard other teams, even Carlton Davis, who's obviously now a Detroit Lion, talked about it in the offseason when he was brought into the Detroit Lions. What a nightmare Gibbs was for him, trying to keep up with him, get angles on him. It's just hard to get angles on somebody with that much speed. I didn't see Moonscar. Hey, man, did you see this morning show? Dan had his dunce hat on. Someone said, a nice hat man. There you go. Yeah, I did have it on, and well-deserved on my part. I messed up yesterday. I own it, and you know what? Hey, I'm going to have to do better than what I did yesterday. I made a mistake. So, Bergheim, I agree. I love Gibbs. He's like a human joystick. That's probably a good way to put it. Anybody who's ever played Madden or maybe old school Tecmo Bowl, if you are old enough to remember that, yeah, Gibbs is somebody who kind of is reminiscent of a video game player. Trade 3, what do you got? A second shooter for MVP? Yeah, could be. Could be. We've got it probably 2. And who knows? Maybe somebody else has a real monster season, then maybe have 3, at least somewhat in the conversation. Hey, man, Muskar, I did. He made me laugh and respect him at the same time. Thanks for that, guys. Yeah, again, hey, went with some information. It looked good at the time. Probably in hindsight, like other things in life, it looks good at a moment, but when you get more information, it doesn't look so good. Hey, but time to fall forward. So that's what I got to do. All right, Doug, imagine J-Mo with the yards Amon-Ra gets. Why not in just first full season? The guy is lightning in a bottle. He is, man. He's another superior athlete that's got a real strong upside. Joseph, hey, Coach Dan in the Duke crew, thank you for all that you do, brother. Hey, anytime, man. I enjoy this stuff. I hope you guys all know that. And yeah, I'm trying to work on a few more things for the show. If you guys if you ever have ideas for the show, feel free to fire them on over. Bergheim, what up, Hookadoo? I got my first fight for Lions week 2. See everyone soon. Woo! A flight, excuse me, not fight. Maybe you hopefully won't have a fight on the flight. But yeah, see you there, man. See you there, Bergs. Let's see, Joseph, I really liked the intro earlier today from Iffy Malafanu. Well, hopefully, Joseph, you saw the one for this one because it had Iffy and Dan the Man Skipper. So check that out. Joseph, that was dope. I'm working on it. I'm trying to, like I said, get a few others. Brosi, who is the MVP front runner you're referring to? So Tom Pelissero, NFL Insider, NFL Network analyst, filling in for Rich Eisen. He feels like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a front runner for MVP, potentially for the Detroit Lions. He does mention he thinks Jared Goff could also be in that conversation, but he really thinks Gibbs is explosive. Manifest, is there a chance that if he comes off the bench, if Branch is the starting safety, or will Branch be starting nickel back? Man, that's a great question, Manifest. I don't know. I mean, the good thing we talked about on the show for a while is that we have so much flexibility with this secondary. You could really see, if he could play corner, Branch could play corner. They both can play safety. Arnold Davis could play safety. Same with Rakestraw, as well as obviously up front as a cornerback as well, or a defensive back. So the only one I think who probably wouldn't put in that back end that I'm at least readily thinking of would be Robertson. But other than that, I think they all pretty much switch army knives. Joseph, I'm so glad we got Gibbs. I wasn't all that excited for him when we first drafted him, but now that we see him play, go Lions, 1,000%. There were a lot of people that were skeptical. You're spot on, Joseph. But over time, I think we all see the wisdom that Brad Holmes had. See, Joseph, I loved Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, I did, man. The Sarge and I used to play that along with some other guys. Man, I tell you, to like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes. One Funky, wasn't it Dante Hall that was known as the human joystick? Got to find a new name for Gibbs. Hey, come up with something. Let me know, One Funky, but hit me with it. Joseph, heels. I'll go with that. Hey, man, Dan, I only admit that my mistakes to my wife. Hey, man, it's one thing I can remember. Just like any profession, man, you make mistakes, especially when you're first starting out. Years and years ago, man, I used to get the book slammed on me all the time by Jack Moss when I would misspell something or miswrite something. So you can't have thin skin, especially if you're going to be on air with the world able to see it. You make a mistake, own up to it. Hey, some people will be okay with it. Some people won't. That's life in a nutshell. Let's see, Joseph, that was the last time I played video games. Yeah, it's been a while for me too, other than, some stuff like Tetris or something. Moonscar, no fighting Bergs. There we go. Yeah, don't do that. Matthew, I agree that Gibbs could have a second-year breakout. If they will still split 50-50, but Gibbs' yardage will be much bigger than last year. There could be a lot to that just because, again, the first several games he played last year, he was just slow and hitting holes, a little hesitant. He's past all that now, so I agree, Matthew. Joseph, no, I didn't see it. When we're off the air, you can just rewind it and it'll pop back up, I'm sure. See, one funky Branch playing strong safety depends on Enos or America. Yeah, in your opinion, yeah. How they want to run it, how they want to do it, they've got so many options. Let's see, Manifest, does anyone know when the Lions 2024 draft video will come out? That I do not. I could try to find out, Manifest, but I'm about ready to head out to do a bunch of showings up in the greater Grand Rapids-ish area, so I'll be gone for a lot of hours tonight. See, Walt, hit the like button. I will do that when I'm off the air, but anybody watching, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. We're like 10 subs away from hitting 6,900, and also hit the thumbs up button. All right, guys, I'll get out of here. Wasn't really planning on being here this long, but hey, great show, great crew, great do crew. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed the videos, the stuff from the Lions players kind enough to hop up and do intros for the show. So, yeah, go enjoy the rest of your day. If there is some sort of breaking news, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. Oop, I got to scroll down to the ending.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.